Okay, so this is in continuation with the FSMO theory. Okay, so now what I have done, I have just logged into my google.com, the root domain controller, which is my DC01. Let me go to command prompt and I'll show you host name. You see, this is my DC01. Okay, and if you see set-l, set space L, if you type, you will understand who logged in, administrator logged in, and what is the logon server DC01. Means this set L command will help you to understand which domain controller is authenticating you now. If you have 10 domain controller, if you want to know which domain controller is you are going to authenticate or you're getting authenticated, you can use this command called set space L, and it will tell you the logon server is DC01. Okay, now let me show you where the FSMO roles are resided. So we have two domain controller, right? So let us check where the FSMO roles are placed. So there is a command called net dom query FSMO. So this is the command. If you hit, it will give you the FSMO roles present in this domain and what and all servers the FSMO roles are distributed. You see here, I can see all the 5 FSMO roles: schema master, domain naming master, PDC emulator, RAD pool manager, and infrastructure master. And if you look at the presence, all are in DC01 only. DC01, DC01, DC01. So if you can recall the theory I told you, if you have a single forest, single domain, like google.com is the only forest I have now. I don't have any child domain. That is a single forest, single domain, because google.com is only one domain is there. If that is the case, the very first domain controller, which is my dc01.google.com, will have all the FSMO roles. Okay, so if you want to see how many domain controllers we have in our estate, there is a command. So there is a command called nltest. You need to, if you want to see how many number of domain controllers we have in each domain, so you have to run a command called nltest space slash dc list. Dc list means domain controller list colon which domain you wanted to see, google.com. If you hit enter, then it will tell you, see, you have two domain controller in this estate or forest, which is your dc01.google.com, and that is your PDC, primary domain controller. If you want to see who's my primary domain controller, you can also see that is your primary domain controller. And see, adc01.google.com, that is your additional domain controller, and both are in the same sites, means both are in the same location. If you create a separate site like Hyderabad and all, then you can see the site name will also get differed according to the site you created and put the domain controller there. Okay, this is how you see the available domain controller list. Now I wanted to move the PDC, RAD, and infrastructure master, the domain wide roles, to the another domain controller. Why? Because Microsoft tells you, in order to have a better AD environment, please don't keep all the 5 FSMO roles in one domain controller, because that is a single point of failure. If something goes wrong and your DC01 get corrupted or crashed, you cannot simply restore the Active Directory like you do restoration other applications. Okay, you need to have some third party tool, some enterprise tool you need, and that they are very expensive. And if your AD estate goes down, you you can even lose your business. The entire company can go collapse. Okay, so the company shares may go down, fall. Okay, say for example a company shares is 1000 or 1000 rupees per share. If they know this reason, the AD forest is hacked, they it is they lost, then they don't have their vendor database, they don't have their user database, user will not be able to work at all, right? So then the share value may comes down. Okay, so to ensure we are not in the risk, so Microsoft tells you at least 2 domain controllers you have and distribute the FSMO roles. So however the way you wanted, like you want to keep forest wide separate, domain wide separate, you can do that, or at least one FSMO role in one domain controller, remaining 4 in another domain controller. Okay, or if you want to keep 3 domain controller, 2 for one domain controller, another 2 in one domain controller, remaining 1 in another domain controller. See, if you have one domain controller with one role at least, even if you have remaining domain controllers shut down also or they get crashed also, we can have one more option called ceasing. Say for example, you have uh, in a 3 domain controller. Let me take you to the OneNote. So imagine you have a domain called google.com, and under that you have 3 domain controller, which is your DC01, DC01, which is your DC02, which is your DC03. And out of 5 FSM roles, you have distributed schema master and domain naming master in the DC01, infrastructure master and RID master in the DC02, and in the DC03 you have PDC emulator. Due to some issue, your DC01 and DC02 got crashed. You are unable to log in, the servers are not booting up at all. Okay, and you tried all the possible ways to bring those back, but you are unable to bring them back. Then Microsoft, you raise the Microsoft case also, and Microsoft told you we are unable to bring them back. You have to add additional domain controller, or you have to forcefully seize the role. Okay, forcefully seize the role. So there is an option called seizing. Seizing means when you know that the FSMO holded servers, domain controllers are crashed, and you know that you will not be bring them back. That time you can log into the existing domain controller which is holding the FSMO role, and you can bring forcefully all the required FSMO roles. That is called as seizing. We call it as role seizing. I will show you that also. How can you do the role seizing and all? Okay. So that is why Microsoft tells you don't place all the FSMO roles in the same domain controller. You should have at least 2 domain controller to distribute the FSMO roles. Imagine in this case, if you had a single domain controller and that server goes wrong or corrupted, how will you manage to bring the domain back? No, because AD will not simply restoration, it will not support. Okay, so that is the reason you have to keep the FSM roles distributed across multiple domain controller. Now let me take you to the domain controller here, and I told you how to move FSM roles from one domain controller to another domain controller. So you already know that the important FSMO, Active Directory console is Active Directory users and computers. And these 5 roles are scattered between multiple places. I'll show you that. The 3 domain-wide roles are there in the Active Directory users and computer option. If you go to Active Directory users and computers, you can see here the domain name. Right click on the domain name and you see an option called Operations Master. Click on Operations Master. See, it is there in DC01, DC01. The RID master is in DC01, PDC emulator is in DC01, infrastructure master is in DC01. What I wanted to do, I wanted to change to DC01, DC02, but here it is both DC0 DC01 is there. So what I have to do here, right click on the domain google.com and change the domain controller to the domain you wanted to move. From DC01 to ADC01 I wanted to move. So then you have to connect to the ADC01. Means you need to connect to the domain controller to which you wanted to move the FSMO role. Okay. Now if you go to the domain.com, google.com, right click and go to the operations master. Now you see the RID master. See, it is in DC01. I wanted to move to ADC01. PDC from DC01 to ADC01. Infra master DC01 to ADC01. So it's very simple. Click on change. Are you sure you want to transfer the FSMO or the operations master role? Yes, I wanted to move, and it will tell you the operation master role was successfully transferred. Click on OK. Go back now. PDC, same DC to ADC. Change. Yes. OK. Go to infrastructure master. DC01 to ADC01. Click on change. Click on yes. You will be transferred. Now, if you go back to the command prompt and see netdom query FSMO, now you see the schema and domain naming master are there in the DC01 and the remaining three are there in the ADC01. See here. Now, as per the Microsoft standard, I have distributed my FSMO roles for the two domain controller. Then you may ask a question, sir, there are 5 FSMO roles, but I can only see 3 in the Active Directory users and computers, where the another 2 are there. Another 2 are distributed in the different places. If you go to Active Directory domains and trust, you will see one more. You right click on the Active Directory domains and trust, you see an option called operations master, and you see here you have the domain naming master. This is your domain naming master. See, it is in DC01. So if you want to move that to the ADC02, right click on google.com, change the domain. Okay. So right click on this Active Directory domains and trust, change Active Directory domain controller, connect to ADC01, click on OK. And now if you right click on the Active Directory domains and trust, you see operations master, and you see from DC01 to ADC01. Click on change, yes, mode. Now if you go to the netdom query FSMO, you can see the last 4 FSMO roles are moved to ADC01. It's still pulling the information. See, ADC01, 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 ADC01. Only the schema master is in a different places. Then you may ask a question, where I can see the schema master? See, schema master is rarely modified, and it's very important also, because if you change the schema irrelevantly, you may have bigger issues also, because schema means what? It is understandable language. Okay, schema means, see, I know English, you know English, I know Kannada, you know Kannada, so we both can communicate. If our schema is not matching, like if our language is not matching, we will not be able to understand what you are speaking and what I am speaking. So that is the reason schema is important. Okay, now to run, to find the schema, you have another option. You have to go to run and type MMC, Microsoft Management Console. Click on it. There you have action or file, add, remove, snap in, and here you can see multiple things: Active Directory, domains and trust, sites and services, users and computers, etc., etc. But you don't see anything called schema. So schema will not be visible like that. So in order to make the schema visible in the Microsoft Management Console, you have to run a command in the run prompt that is called, that command is, so the command is regsvr32 space schema management.dll. So this is the library which holds the FSMO roles, and you have to register it. Register it in the command prompt. Now if you click on OK, you get this DLL register service server in schema management.dll. It is succeeded. Click on OK. Now go back to command prompt or run and type MMC. Go to file, add, remove, snap ins, and you see here, now you can see the Active Directory schema. Click on add schema. OK, and you can expand it. Now you can right click on this Active Directory schema and you see the operations master. See, operations master. It is in DC01. Would you like to move it to DC01? No, I want to move it to ADC01. Then I have to right click on this, change the domain controller, connect to ADC01 because I wanted to move to ADC01, right? So now right click, go operations master, from DC to ADC, click on change, yes, okay, close. Now run the netdom query FSMO to make sure. Oh, it is not yet moved. There was an error. Sometimes it will take some time. Okay, right click, operations master, change. Are you sure you want to change the operations master? Yes, I wanted to. The requested FSMO operations failed. The current FSMO holder could not be contacted. The transfer of the current operation master could not be performed. More information if you want to see, you can just read it. Otherwise, sometimes what happens, you may need to check the firewall and all. Let me check the firewall.cpl. It is off. I'm fine. Let me go to the DC01 here, ADC01. So let me log into the ADC01. So it is password I'm entering. So you can go to regsbr32 space ssch mgmt schema mgmt.dll. I'll register here also. The command is wrong. regsbr32 schema sschm mgmt.dll. It's fine. Add remove snap-ins. Okay, I think this is my base machine. It is coming. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll right click here, go to run and type regsbr32 space sschmgmt.dll. So now I have registered. Now go to run mmc file, add remove snap-in, schema is there, add it. Okay, now right click here, go to operations master, and now I need to change. Right click, change the domain controller, connect to ADC01. Fine. Okay, right click, operations master, change. No, it is not happening. I think I need to restart the server once. Let me restart my server quickly and I'll show you. I think some issue is there, but this is how you need to move, or it will take some time. What I will do, I will restart both the computers and try to move the FSMO roles. Okay, so I think now you know where and all the FSMO roles are resided, and how to move the FSMO roles. So one more option is there. So using some command prompt also you can move the FSMO roles actually. Okay, there is a command called NTDSUTIl. Okay, if you type this command NTDSUTIl, and if you don't know anything, you can type help, and it will tell you what are all the possibilities or things are there. In our case, we need to deal with the roles. See here, we need to deal with the roles. So what you have to do, you have to type roles here, and it is asking the roles, and it is asking some maintenance, right? You have to connect. You have to say connections because you want to extend the connection. See, if you type help, it will tell connections. Okay, connect to a specific AD, because we need to move the FSM roles, we need to connect to the server, like we change the domain controller. So you can say connections. Okay, then you have to mention which server I need to connect. Help, if you see, it will tell you connect to server or connect to domain. So in my case, I need to connect to the server DC01. See, it is connected to the DC0 using the credential locally logged on server. Okay, then you can take help. You may need to quit. Okay, once you quit, you can type help. You see the, you can see two options. One is seizing, another one is transferring. Seizing the infrastructure, naming master, PDC, RAD, schema and operations. Okay, like if you have both seizing as well as transferring. So this is the place where I told you you can forcefully make the particular domain controller work as the corrupted FSMO role holder. Okay, so if you do seizing, that PDC which has got only one role, it can also work as RID, schema, operation master, but you need to call out specifically which role you want to seize in that particular server. Okay, so in my case, I would like to transfer PDC back, transfer PDC. Okay, imagine I want to transfer this. See, are you sure you want the domain role of primary domain controller transferred to the DC01? Yes. See, it got transferred. See here schema, you can read this PDC. See, it got moved. Now if you want to see, go to command prompt, different command prompt, and type net dom query FSMO, and you can see the PDC is there in the DC01 now. See, the PDC is there in the DC01. Likewise, you can even run this transferring naming master. You can copy like this. If you do, hit enter, right click, it will see. Yes, I am transferring the naming master. I want to transfer the RID master also. Right click, transfer RID master. Yes. So actually, always command prompt is easy. Infrastructure master, I would like to transfer. Sorry. Now you can say quit. Help, you say it is quit only. Okay, I am back now. Now if you run net dom, or if you go to the another command prompt, here if you run, now all the FSMO roles are there in the DC01. See, this is how it is easy, the command prompt one. Okay, so let me, yes, hope this is clear. Now you know how to do the role seizing. Now you know how to do the role transfer in the command prompt. So here what I did, I ran transfer and infrastructure master. But if you I would have ran seize RID master, the role would have got seized. But only when you do the role seizure is when you know that that domain controller will not come up at all. That got completely crashed. Only that scenario you will have the role seizure. No two FSMO holders should be there in the live environment. Okay, if you have both the domain controller PDC holder, both will not work. It is a problem because everything will start synchronizing. Okay, and all the duplicate data. So basically, it won't work. It will crash your entire domain. Okay, so that's it about the FSMO role transferring and a little bit on the role seizure. Okay, I think with that we are good to stop the recording because we are done with the role transfer. Okay, I will take the questions. Let me stop the recording. Thank you all.